A very warm welcome to UN Forum. You are participating in the largest civil society conference on the United Nations to be held in the UK since the turn of the millennium.
This UN Forum can help you raise your voices for action. For the past 70 years, UNA UK has been an essential bridge between the UN and the people in the United Kingdom.
There was a perception amongst the statesmen at the end of the Second World War, even while they were still fighting that war, that they actually had to start building the foundations for a better world. And they've, in a fundamental sense, they've succeeded.
People should care about the United Nations for long-term and moral reasons.
The British public should want to be a part of something that is helping other people to have the same lives and opportunities that they do.
And I count on all of you to engage with the United Nations at this forum and beyond.
I'm really looking forward to hearing from Valerie Amos.
I'm really looking forward to Mark Seddon's discussion.
The whole discussion about the British public and their perception of the UN.
It's going to be really interesting to hear from Danilo Turk, the former president of Slovenia and potential candidate for UN Secretary General.
I'm looking forward to the education and development session.
Panel discussion on the Millennium Development Goals.
The most important thing to take away is that development and aid are not at all the same thing, and in fact are really very, very different to each other.
It should include tackling poverty, but it cannot only be about tackling poverty if we're going to achieve sustainable development across the world.
The single most important thing that people take away from today's debate is that the UN, the United Nations, is owned by the global community, by the world, and is still relevant to development and to the idea that we share a common humanity.
I think that the international community really is looking for some kind of vehicle to ensure that, A, we prevent a crisis really getting out of hand.
We should be first investing in trying to prevent crises and redressing the way in which all of our resources and attention tends to be put towards response.
There are circumstances where non-intervention also has consequences, and that sometimes situations deteriorate very badly, as we see in Syria today, where the international community has failed.
The thing that I would ask the UK government to do even more of is to make the case for resources to go into preparedness, to make the case for doing more in terms of prevention, and to use its political weight in terms of preventive diplomacy.
Abolishing nuclear weapons is a desirable goal, but it's more important to abolish wars that can kill people on a massive scale, as they did in World War I and World War II. We don't want to reach a stage where we have a situation in the world that there are no nuclear weapons, but it is more dangerous than the world is today.
Without undermining the concept of nuclear deterrence in certain circumstances, the risk is far too big. It is a pact with the devil, and that the devil will cash it in at some day in the future.
We work to make the case for the UN and for global cooperation, and we promote joined-up thinking and action on the problems we face. Just as we have to challenge unfounded and exaggerated criticisms, we have to be honest about its limitations. Only if we do so can we build a genuine movement, a public movement, for an effective UN and I hope as a result, a better UN.
I think that these kind of meetings are very precious. There are not very many around the world. The UK is in a special situation because it first has a long tradition of involvement with the United Nations and because it has that spirit of civil society.
I think the United Nations Association of the UK should be applauded for having the kind of debate that we had today.
Events of this nature and of this size, and this is big, I mean 2,000 people is a lot, are extremely important.
I've got a lot of new contacts, I've met a lot of interesting people, I've got a lot to think about now.
I came as a participant, but I've ended up listening for most of the day and learning. What you're getting from these events here are lots of new ideas, lots of new people.
I think the UNA has done a great job today. I've never seen such an engaged audience on at 3 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon. It's been brilliant.
Without days like this, there is no hope for survival and improvement.
I enjoyed it very much, and I mean, one of the wonderful things for me about United Nations associations is the ongoing interest that people take in the United Nations, the challenge that they pose to the United Nations about the things that need to be done. There's a better world that we can shape, and we will have a role in doing that.
We must, we will succeed.